What's up, everyone? Welcome to this edition of Keep Watch Pass, your subscriber-only special content on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel. I am stoked to be doing this one because we are talking about Scarlett Johansson and the movies that she has starred in. And here to join me down ScarJo Road is my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Got my Black Widow hair style
all set to go, right? Now,
fiery red.
You're not going to do like one of those, like, Hurricane Rana kind of, lock your ankles around my head and spin me around, are you?
That'd be fun. That's for another show, isn't it?
That's for a much different show. Way different show. Right? Way different show. But here's what we are going to do. We are about to play a game of Keep Watch Pass with movies starring Scarlett Johansson. Now, here's how the game works. We are going to go through her filmography, and each of us has brought 3 films to classify as either a keeper, a watch, or a pass. The keep film is the one that we hold in high regard. The one that when it comes on, when you hear the opening theme or you see that opening credits, rather than hear the movie, all you hear is go, oh. The watch film is the one where, hey, great, it's on, it's all good. If it's on TV, you're not skipping it. You might even sit down through the commercials if it's on one of those fast networks. And then there's the pass, the one where it's either really bad or you tried so hard to like it, but you just couldn't. And every actor has those kind of films. And it's not necessarily a knock on the actor. It's just a knock on the film. But we're going to start with our keep. So, Carrie, what have you got?
My keep 100% is I have to go with Rough Night. Okay, so for our listeners, if you tuned in to the Christian Slater episode, I had mentioned Very Bad Things as my watch, and I really wanted it to be my keep. So this is kind of my...
This is your redemption?
This is my redemption. This is my This is my... This is my keeper, because I really enjoy, like, the buddy debauchery type movie, as opposed to Very Bad Things, where 4 friends go to Vegas on a bachelor party. This one, Rough Night, they're celebrating Scarlett Johansson's upcoming nuptials. And do they go to Vegas? I can't remember.
No, it's Miami.
Miami, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So a very different set of unfortunate events happen to the girls this time. Amazing supporting cast. We've got Kate McKinnon, who is just so much fun in this.
All the crazy.
You know what? Scarlett Johansson was so incredibly, she started out so sweet and innocent, and she was running for politics.
Right.
And, you know what? She played it pretty even keel throughout, but the amount of badness and craziness that happened to the ladies. I mean, so much fun.
She played that very well in that she let the crazy kind of happen around her, rather than be directly crazy. Like, she was fun, and it's not necessarily the movie you would expect out of Scarlett Johansson. And I like the gender swap Very Bad Things idea. Plus, by the way, now if anyone says Sad Astronaut, the only reference is that movie. We have actually covered Rough Night on It's Not That Bad already, because surprisingly, it qualifies. So you actually took a movie that qualifies for It's Not That Bad and made it your keeper. That just shows how actually good it is.
Because it's a very Carrie movie. Again, it's the buddy film that Very Bad Things happen. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I really enjoy the road trip kind of movies, where, again, like a group of friends not expecting the amount of debauchery that's ahead of them and shenanigans that happen along the way.
Shenanigans?
So shenanigans and debauchery. I just threw in like the best describing words ever. So there we go.
Also, Shenanigans and Debauchery should have been a song by House of Pain.
It should have been.
Right? My keep is probably not going to surprise you at all. I am going to go with arguably the greatest superhero film of all time, Avengers Infinity War. This, the part one of the two-parter that ended the Infinity Saga. This film, like when you think about what it took for them to build up to this point, in that whole saga, and then you get as many actors as you did, and ScarJo, like I get that Endgame focused a bit more on her, but I think that Infinity War was the better film. And I will say, I remember when we saw this in the theater, and spoiler alert, if you don't know this by now, you're like the one person who's not gone to go see this. When everyone starts to turn to dust and the theater was dead silent, like you could hear the occasional gasp as little by little the Avengers started to dust out, and then end credits happen and it's silence as everyone walks out. That never happens in a Marvel movie in the theaters. Dead silence. Stunned silence. The villain in most superhero films doesn't win. Here, and I recognize it's part one. But this is where the villain wins. And I'm sure you'll appreciate this. This is kind of like the end of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, where it ends on such a downbeat, and you're left like, it can't be it.
Right.
That can't be more. It. Right? Here, and that's not it. Right? But that moment, right? As people were walking out and they realized, like, it was so good. And she as Black Widow, I mean, let's be honest. There is no one who could have played Natasha Romanoff so well, right? Sure, you could have put anyone in like the jumpsuit and whatnot. And you could have gotten anyone athletic, but I think Scarlett Johansson brought the duality of Natasha Romanoff. Like that's an acting skill. That's not just a physical skill. That's not just a looks thing. That's an acting skill. Because Natasha Romanoff is, she plays both sides on so many different occasions that you need someone who's able to be good and bad at the same time. And kudos to her and the rest of the Avengers. Now we move on to our watch film. And I'm gonna pick a movie that I know actually qualifies for It's Not That Bad. And somewhere down the road, we're going to have to cover it. And it was released around the same time. And I'm talking about Lucy. This is the film where she gets caught up in being an unwilling drug mule, where like she gets captured and they cut her open and they put the drugs inside her, and she's got to cross over to, she's got to take a plane to deliver the drugs. They'll open her up, take the drugs out, and stitch her back up. But unfortunately, the drugs, like the baggie that the drugs are in, kind of breaks open inside her when someone kicks her, kind of thing. And the drugs have the ability to enhance her mind capability to the point of she's able to do things that no human should be able to do, because the theory is that we as humans only use 5% of our actual brain power, and what would happen if we were able to use 80, 90, 100%. This drug allows her to be able to do that and to be able to alter reality. It's a very cool movie, and there's lots of cool moments in it. Yes, there are, also scenes of weird wildlife stuff going on in the film, but it's a very cool action film. But what have you got for your watch?
My watch, I'm going down Marvel Lane and revisiting her character as the Black Widow. But I'm going to go with Age of Ultron.
Okay.
because I think that she was just so absolutely endearing in that role, like in that particular movie. It was playful. It was kind of like that, is there a relationship here between her and Bruce Banner? Like what is happening here? Yeah, so I'm taking it back and I'm going with Age of Ultron, which I think, aside from the Infinity Wars, it was probably easily my favorite of the Avengers movies.
If I remember correctly, too, I remember reading that part of that movie she filmed while she was pregnant. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you've got her doing all this while, early in pregnancy kind of thing. And yeah, kudos to her. Age of Ultron, I think it's unfairly maligned. Like, obviously, it doesn't qualify for the podcast because it's a freaking Avengers film. But I think it gets unfairly maligned. And I don't know if that's how they portrayed Ultron, even though I thought it was great. Yes, he looks different than the comic books, which is kind of weird because when the first teaser for Age of Ultron came out, and it was just the Avengers A logo, and then it spins around and it turns into a very comic accurate Ultron head. It's a very different look than what we got in the actual film. But when you realize that this is also the beginning really of Scarlet Witch and Vision and how much that means now and later in the MCU, like the fact that they were able to soft boot those characters and have it work so well, say what you will about Joss Whedon, but it's a damn good film. I'd be curious to see how you rank the Black Widow in various Avengers films. I know you'd probably put this very, very, very high, but now we get to the pass. and this is I'm curious.
Oh no.
I'm very curious what your pass is.
Okay, well, clearly you had the perfect segue to throw it back to me because my pass is actually the Black Widow movie.
Really?
Yeah. And you know what? It's not a knock on Scarlett Johansson. It's not at all a knock on Florence Pugh. I really enjoyed getting to know her character better. Mm-hmm. But the movie was just such a slog. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm going to break the internet. But I did not enjoy it at all. Like, if it's on TV, I'm walking out of the room. I know I have an extra 2 hours, not that it's not a great storyline. Her backstory was intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I got really bored of it. I wasn't interested. I don't know what it was. Help me, because I know that I'm probably like not giving it its due, but I didn't like it. I'm sorry. I picked an Avengers movie for my watch, but this is definitely my pass.
I'm going to give you a challenge. Actually, not a challenge per se, but I'm going to give you an assignment, if you will. And I think this is going to help you in kind of rethinking or recontextualizing Black Widow. I think part of the problem, there's a couple of problems with Black Widow, and none of them deal with the movie. Black Widow is one of those films that I think suffered the most from the COVID pandemic, because we were getting trailers right up into March of 2020, and then everything shut down, and then things got pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And by the time they finally turned around and dropped it onto Disney Plus, we felt like we had seen pretty much the entire film at that point. We'd been served with like a year and a half of trailer, and there's only so much you can show, but they keep adding a little bit more. Like, now we need to get you excited again, and now we need to get you excited again. I think the only film that got out a fate worse than Black Widow was probably Morbius. because there's another film that we were seeing trailers before the pandemic started, and then they went back and they reworked a lot, and then things happened, and there you go, right? Morbius got torn apart. But I think part of the problem too with Black Widow is that it was released after Avengers Endgame. So here's my suggestion, if I may. Next time you have a day, because you're going to need a day, okay? I want you to sit down and watch Captain America Civil War, and then right after, I want you to watch Black Widow, because one leads pretty much directly into the other. And I think being so disconnected, as far as release date from one to the other, I think probably took the momentum out of Black Widow. Because, we saw her die in Endgame, and she was supposed to stay dead. And then Black Widow comes out and it's like, whoa. Didn't we? We're still trying to process that she dead. She ain't no coming back. They left her on Vormir.
Can I just say, though, that I absolutely loved Florence Pugh's appearance in the Hawkeye TV series. Because, oh my God, it was like, she wants revenge. She's avenging her sister.
The good thing about Hawkeye, and, again, speaking of Florence Pugh, is, Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop was great. But there's actually video out there, and they put it out in public, of Catherine Newton from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, who's the new Cassie Lang. She had actually tried out for Kate Bishop, and there's footage of her screen test with Hawkeye himself, with Jeremy Renner, and I'm like, no, they got the casting perfect. Haley Steinfeld is Kate Bishop, and Catherine Newton is Cassie Lang. Like, it would have been very different, I think, Hawkeye, if Catherine Newton got to be Kate Bishop. But the on-screen camaraderie between Florence Pugh and Haley Steinfeld was hilarious. But I think, like I said, Black Widow I think is worth rewatching, but you have to rewatch it in chronological order as opposed to release order. I think that might help you out a little bit. But I do understand that if you're taking a look at her as the Black Widow, that is probably the weakest entry of her as the Black Widow. That I can see. That I can see. My past film is actually a DVD that we own.
Ooh.
So we kind of kept it, even though I'm going to pass on it. And that's The Black Dahlia. This was a film that came out, I think, around like the late, early 2000s kind of thing, like before 2010s or something like that. I can't remember the exact date. And it looked really cool, right? It was one of obviously the movie bases around the Black Dahlia murder and trying to find the killer. And Scarlett Johansson plays a very mysterious character in this, but I don't think it's the strongest role for her, and I definitely don't think it's the strongest film, because I found it plodding. I found the movie, like, it's one of those films where you watch the trailer and everything looks really good, right? And you're like, okay, this is cool and mysterious. And keep in mind too, this is around the time when, like, crime scene TV shows are all the rage, right? So CSI is out there and Bones, but this brought it back to, like, the early Hollywood era. So you have that, that Hollywoodland type feel to it. But it just didn't grab me. And that's a shame, because it had all the pieces there. And Scarlett Johansson is good in it, but it's not the best film. And it was hard though, like looking at her filmography and trying to, go through. Now, admittedly, I haven't seen every film that she's been in. I don't really remember Home Alone 3 that much. I try to kind of wipe it out of my memory. I've never watched movies like Match Point. So that's the thing. No one, unless you are a massive fan of a specific actor or actress, you're never going to really see everything that they're in. I'm sure there's still Quentin Tarantino films that you haven't actually sat down and watched all the way through and perused. But this film is not a bright spot on her filmography from personal standpoint.
I just have to say, incorrect. I have watched all the Quentin Tarantino movies, including Inglourious Bastards.
Really?
And, yep.
And Curdled?
Oh.
I rest my case.
Still in the packaging. I forgot about that one.
Also, Curdled still in the packaging. So all you collectors, just be envious now. Just
right?
radiate your jealousy towards Carrie, knowing that she has Curdled in the package. I think it's
still
on VHS.
In the packaging, yeah.
I think VHS in the package, as I recall. So,
Shrink wrapped.
Do
you think it's worth anything?
Depends. How much do we need to pay off the mortgage?
How about my 99-cent copy that we found of Destiny Turns on the Radio?
That was such a good find.
Wasn't it?
Right? like popping into a Video 99 store and there it is in like the 99-cent VHS bin and she's like, yoink!
Score! Start the car!
Right.
That was my start the car moment.
Get it and run.
Right.
Also, we still have all those VHS tapes because we don't throw any movies away. Carrie, thank you so much for this. And listeners, thank you for tuning in and supporting the show. We absolutely appreciate everything that you do and helping us to make more shows and movie talk for you guys. This is Keep Watch Pass. Until next time, she's Carrie. I'm Jay. You guys are absolutely awesome. Take care.
Hey folks, Stefan Shirazi and Renee Richardson here from the Metallica Report.
And we are proud members of the Pantheon podcast family, where the best of music and podcasts unite.
We've got something pretty cool for you. We're giving away an exclusive Metallica merch package worth over $250.
That's a whole lot of Scary Guys, Skulls, M72, and other sought-after Metallica swag. And we've made it easy for you to win. Follow and share the Metallica Report, and you're in the game. Go to pantheonpodcast.com/Metallica, enter your email, and hit that button to be entered to win.
And just like that, you're eligible for our monthly exclusive Metallica merch package.
And guess what, rockers? You can enter every month, so just do it. And while we love our global brothers and sisters, the lawyers won't let us ship outside the U.S.